Joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show, we have a great songwriter and a guy with a great album out called Perspective. We have Jace Pawlak from St. Louis on the line. Jace, welcome to the show.
Hey, K-Rock, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, man. So, look, I got to admit this, I'm kind of new to your music, but I've been listening to Perspective, and I really like what I'm hearing. Now, you kind of started your career from a different perspective than a lot of other folks in the industry as a songwriter. So tell us a little bit about that journey, launching into the industry as a songwriter.
Yeah, I always wanted to just be a songwriter, honestly. I grew up a music junkie. I was just kind of a music junkie. And I would buy all my favorite records, and I would tear them apart. I just read everything I could. And I eventually started noticing names, mostly notably Diane Warren and Desmond Child, on a lot of my favorite records. And it never occurred to me you could write songs for a living. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. I never wanted to be up front. I never wanted to be, honestly, too much in a band other than being a drummer, actually. But I was really drawn to writing and just trying to express myself that way. And over the years, I ended up writing for Kibble Records and a few bands on that label. And I just kind of got to a point where I was like, well, I got all these songs. Someone should do them. I guess I'll just start recording them myself. So I kind of do both. I kind of wear a bunch of different hats, and I write songs for other bands, but I got a bunch of other material that I can't find a home for with other bands. So I just go ahead and do it myself.
Now, I love your writing style, and one thing I thought was pretty cool, it seems like your father had a big influence on you in the music industry, and from what I can see, he even plays a little bit on your songs, doesn't he?
Yeah, my dad, honestly, I could sit here and talk forever about my parents, about my dad, but he's the greatest, man. He was in a band in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and so I grew up around music. He was the lead guitar player and main songwriter, and it's mostly like Kiss and Grand Funk kind of stuff, Led Zeppelin. He was the driving force in that band, so he had rehearsals at the house, so there was always instruments in the basement. So I was always around music. And him and my mother were always very, very supportive. So I started playing drums when I was like 3. And that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be Tommy Lee or Alex Van Halen. I wanted to grow up being a drummer in a rock band, and that's what I wanted to do. But he was always very, very supportive. Music always around the house. My parents, man, they put up with a lot. They put up with me banging the drums in the basement for 15 years. They put up with me screaming Winger and Skid Row in my bedroom growing up. So they were always very, very supportive. Everything I would do, like I remember showing my parents the first few songs I wrote, and they were terrible, K-Rock. They were awful. And they were like, these are great. Keep at it. Like, so it's been very great. It's been very, very good. And he's honestly one of the best guitar players I've ever known, I could ever know. And I'm very, very fortunate that I just have him at my disposal to do all the leads on my recordings. It's great. We just go in and knock one out. Like, that's great, man. Thank you. So it's been really great, man. I appreciate you saying that.
So let's talk about, you said your first songs were terrible. There's a couple that aren't terrible. They're on the album. I'm going to ask two of them. My favorite one so far is actually the first one on the album, Cry. Tell me a little bit about that tune.
Cry, man. That's thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. That's one of my favorite songs also, honestly. That's when I was working on that and I put that song together, it was all coming together like, this is really good. So I'm normally pretty hypercritical of myself, but that song is, I mentioned Diane Warren and Desmond Child. That is about the closest I've come to like full-on Diane Warren, Desmond Child worship. Like, I really just was really happy with that tune. So I got the idea for the chorus melody when I was driving, and I kind of sat down and kind of worked it all out, and it just came together really, really well, I thought. So that's why I put it up front on the album. It's probably the most accessible song of all the songs on Perspective. I think it's probably the one that most people can kind of relate to it and latch onto. But mostly just the recording and the editing and everything. It all came together really, really well. So I'm glad I've heard the most about that song. So I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad people are digging it.
Yeah, man, it's a good tune. It's a great intro because it really hooks you into the album. Now, the other one I wanted to ask you about, so I really like Renegade Heart. I could just feel that late 80s, early 90s metal, melodic rock kind of thing going on in it. And when you write a song like that, do you have a band in mind, or are you just writing a good song?
Dude, thank you. You're the first person to mention that song to me that I've talked to. That song actually was, I got the title from John Kimmel at Kimmel Records. He's like, I want to do something called Renegade Heart, and he gave me that in my head, in my brain. I just went, Renegade Heart. Okay, so I kind of just wrote a whole song around that. I didn't really have a specific thing in mind. It was just something that I've done a lot of writing for Kimmel Records, and I was trying to push that song into the niche that Kimmel Records does. So pretty much it is. If you're familiar with their stuff, it is exactly that. It's more 80s worship, hard rock, that kind of thing. So when I was writing that song in particular, I was really kind of shooting for that kind of feel. Like the driving bass line. It's almost a little bit Bon Jovi. But kind of in that era is exactly what I was going for with that song. So I'm glad to hear you say that, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. One of the other bands I have on the show tonight is Heaven's Edge, a great melodic band from the 90s in Philadelphia. And it's so funny. I got done listening to Heaven's Edge and I heard Renegade Heart. I'm like, man, this is almost like a good match here.
Dude, thank you. That's good to hear. I appreciate you saying that. I saw them. I was at the Melodic Rock Fest 4 in Chicago last year, so I was lucky enough to catch them live. That's cool.
Yeah, man, they're a really cool live band. So, tell me about I love the thing you put on your Facebook, the fans around the world showing their pictures holding the album. So, it's a cool idea. Which one of those surprised you the most? Like, which the one that kind of like, wow, I got a fan over in this place?
Oh man, I tell you, there's a bunch of them. I can't even honestly. I wish I could give you a specific answer. But there's a couple of them. There's a couple in Denmark. There's one in I think someone in Iceland. Is on there. When I did the record, I went through Kickstarter to get the record done because this is my third record, and to be honest, I've done 3 other records in the past, 2 of my original material, and 1 of my dad's material, and that all comes out of pocket. And I honestly was like, I don't think I can really afford to keep doing this. So I went the Kickstarter route, and I'm really, really glad I did because, to be honest, I was kind of a last-ditch effort. I was like, if Kickstarter doesn't work out, I think I'm just going to stop doing this because I just go into debt every time I put a record out. But I bring that up because the Kickstarter brought me fans from all around the world, which was pretty unexpected and pretty interesting. So when I was gathering all that together and shipping everything out to everybody, I was like, I would really like everybody to take a picture. And I got a little secret Facebook group of like supporters and fans, like it's a secret Facebook group. And I go and I just say, everybody, take a picture of yourself in front of anything you can and wherever you're from. And I just thought it'd be fun. It's really it's almost humbling. I sit and look at pictures of people holding my record in New York and then Sweden and Australia, and like this is pretty cool. So I'm glad that you noticed that. Just seeing anything that's not in this country for some reason gives me a little charge. And honestly, I need to reach people in other countries because there are other parts of the world that I think would be more receptive to what I do.
You picked some of the countries, man. I know we interviewed bands all around the world, and that area, you mentioned Sweden and Denmark, and that part of the country, the melodic rock stuff especially, is huge and very, very popular over there still. I've never been there, but I know from interviewing bands that are really popular over there that stuff still really catches on. So do you play live, or do you do you have a band? Do you and your dad go out and play live, or is that in the works?
Okay, Rock, I wish I could say that I do, man, but, I hold down a full-time job just like anybody else does. In terms of playing live, my job is to play. I play piano at Disney World. I'm actually, I'm from St. Louis, but I'm in Orlando, Florida now, and I play piano at Disney, so 4 or 5 nights a week I'm doing that on stage, and that's like I said, I got to hold down a full-time job just like everybody else. So as much as I really would love to be able to find a place to play my original stuff. At the moment, there's no plans. There's no way to really do it. I pretty much just connect with everybody online and over the phone and just try to get people to listen to the recordings.
Now, when you're done at Disney, do you ever sneak a couple bars of Renegade Heart or Cry in there while you're warming up to get people going?
I wish I get tired. No. I'll play a little musical, like the melody on the piano a little bit every now and then whenever it's like a chit-chat. But my job is my job, people come in and we just want to have a good time. So we play all the greatest songs in the history of pop music and everybody sings, drinks, and has a good time. So I can't really play them there. I mostly just meet people and kind of go, hey, I got some original stuff if you want to check it out. So that doesn't hurt.
Well, Jace Pawlak, everybody, I introduced you as being from St. Louis, but I know you're in Florida now. The album is called the new album is called Perspective, and he's got other albums as well. And if you're looking for him on Facebook, Jace is Jace Pawlak, Pawlak. And hey, man, we're glad we got to meet you. I'm going to play the two tunes I mentioned on the show tonight, "Cry" and "Renegade Heart." And I hope to run into you. Maybe if I'm riding a ride down there at Disney one day, or even better yet, maybe at a rock festival.
Seriously, man, K-Rock, if you're ever down here in Orlando, let me know, man, all right?
All right, man, we'll do. And thanks so much for being on the show, and good luck with Perspective, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, man.